Hey guys, I wanted to talk about the Survivor Bloodpoint grind today. It's something that if you've played Dead by Daylight, you've probably run into where you just have a great game, you do a lot of work as Survivor, and yet you walk away with something shy of like 18,000 points. And you're sitting there thinking, but I did like 4 generators, I got like 3 safe unhooks, and I got out, but I'm only getting like 18,000 points? What the hell? And I've been there. I've had that kind of game where it feels like I just carry the entire team. I'm suddenly developing back problems from carrying these teammates, but I end up with, 16, 18, maybe 20,000 blood points on a good day. Modified, of course, by offerings and other circumstances in the game. I'm talking like the raw score that you see at the end results screen, where everybody escapes, but like somehow, even though you got like 20,000 blood points and you did the best survivor, the killer somehow got 24,000 blood points, even though everybody escaped. And it feels kind of weird to see the killer got more than you did, even though you completely shit on this guy. Now the thing is as I mentioned, actually I don't think I mentioned it in this take. I've done a lot of takes of this. But there is limited sources of blood points, or at least limited sources of the big score events for survivors. Fully completing a generator is a very large amount of objective points. Same with exit gates. Cooperative actions on the generators also gives you more points. Altruism, the unhooks give you the most points with a little extra for safe unhooks. I think actually that's the wrong way of doing it. By the way, I think right now, unhooks are worth 1,500, or at least they were worth 1,500 when I was playing yesterday. I haven't played today, so I don't know if I'm just going crazy and I'm seeing things. But it used to be worth 1,000, so it's either still worth 1,000 or it is actually worth 1,500 right now to actually unhook someone, with only an extra 500 if it's a safe unhook. I got another point to make about that. I'm going to tangent on my own video here and say that I don't think that's a good idea. I think the safe unhooks should be worth more. I think at the very least, if it is currently 1,500, then it should actually be balanced, because that's basically a safe unhook is worth 2,000 points, as opposed to just unhooking the guy, which is 1,500. I think if it's going to be worth 2,000 points, it should be even. The unhook is worth 1,000, and the safe hook rescue is worth another 1,000. If the unhook is still actually 1,000, I'm just going crazy, then I think the reward value should be flipped. The unhook should be 500, and the safe unhook should be 1,000. Mostly because I want to discourage farming. I hate farming. As a killer, when I see someone getting farmed, I go for the farmer. Like, the person on the hook gets to go away. Like, I want the farmer dead. So, at least that's the way I play it, but there's nothing stopping another killer from just, they see you unhook a guy right in front of you, and they ignore you who did the unhook, and they just kill your buddy again, which is the whole farming thing and why everybody hates it. So, I feel like the point values should discourage that tactic, and right now I feel like it's encouraging that tactic, but that's besides the point. So, altruism has a very limited number of unhooks that you can do to get your big score events. You can only get 6 unhooks personally yourself in the middle of a game. That's because, everybody's third time on the hook is going to be the kill. So there's only 8 unhooks available, and 2 of them are going to be you being unhooked, so you can only get 6 if you're the survivor. There's also totems that can be cleansed for a lot of boldness points, but there's only 5 of those on the map. If they're dull, they're worth 1,000. If they're hex, they're worth 1,500. Like I said, there's a limited number of them. Everybody wants them, and that's the big point, is that these big score events are split between 4 different survivors. So it becomes very difficult to get a lot of points as survivor, because you have to share all of these points. There's no, source that you can just grind out, which I guess fits the whole idea of the survivors having to work together. So I think it actually is a fundamental part of the game design where all of these points do have to be split between the 4 survivors, because again, this is all part of the whole team aspect of the survivor gameplay. Killer has an infinite source of points. Every point has every score category is either infinite, or in the case of the sacrifice category, if they hook everyone 3 times, they're going to get enough to get 8,000 in that category. So it's whatever. So again, this is just something that is part of Dead by Daylight, and it's not really something that I think can be fixed. However, I would like to open to discussion, at the very least, any ideas for improving how many points survivors can get. And I know the first instinct is, I mean, obviously there's blood point offerings, so, but we're not talking about that. We're talking raw score here. And I know there's also the perk Prove Thyself, which increases the points that you get for co-op actions. Again, that just makes you hit the cap faster. Because you get those extra points in the middle of a match. They don't get applied at the end. People might also go for the perk We're Going to Live Forever, which is good. It's a good perk. I like using it, especially when I'm grinding blood points on Survivor, but it's difficult to get stacks on that because you do have to play very differently. You have to get safe unhooks for stacks, or you have to get protection hits. It's not something where you can just get stacks of it by just playing normally. You have to be very tactical and strategic with when you unhook people. You have to jump in front of the killer and take protection hits. It does force you to play in a different way. And of course, you might be going for a safe unhook, but, some other survivor, some person who's new to the game or just doesn't care can just run in and unhook someone directly in the killer's face. And you're just kind of sitting there going like, well, fuck me, I guess. There's one of my stacks gone. But there is something I think that can be done to help, to kind of help mitigate the problem, if it even really is a problem. Some of you might be looking at this and thinking like, this isn't a problem, this is just how the game is. But I still think that there's a change that can be made that would help get points for survivors. And it has to do with treasure chests, actually. Currently, searching chests is an objective scoring event. It gives you 300 objective points to search a chest. I don't think that's right. I have two reasons for why I don't think it's right. One, searching a treasure chest in the game does not bring you anywhere closer to getting out, to escaping. The objective score category should be for things in the game that bring you closer to winning, to escaping. That's why it's generators and escape gates. And again, if you're on those, if you do a lot of repair on those, it's very easy to maybe not hit the cap, but get very damn close. You don't need that extra 300 points from the treasure chests to get up to that cap, and it kind of shows. Secondly, the loading screens back me up on this. There is a load screen for survivors that say survivors can search chests to get items to increase their odds of survival. Even the game acknowledges that you're getting things to increase your odds of survival. You're not getting closer to ending the game by searching a chest. You are, in fact, kind of wasting time by searching treasure chests, but you're getting items that can increase your survival. So I really think that searching treasure chests should be moved to the survival category, which currently is kind of locked a little bit. If you're not playing a killer that lets you get extra survival points, like if you're up against a Myers or a Ghostface, I think actually revealing Ghostface, like breaking him out of his power, is a boldness event. And there's no way of like getting out of Myers' power. The game doesn't have like a line of sight breaking kind of thing. Basically there are killers that you just can't get points because the whole idea with survival is A, escaping, and B, surviving the killer's power as he tries to use it to trap you. There's a lot of survival events that revolve around negating the killer's power in some way. And if you're not up against a killer that you can effectively do that on, then you're kind of screwed. At least on survival points. In that case, you're kind of stuck with just the big 5,000 point get the fuck out at the end of the game bonus. You get a little bit of points for trying to wiggle out of the killer's grasp. You get a little bit of points for struggling on the second phase of the hook. But at the end of the day, if you don't get out, you're going to get maybe 1,000 survival points at best. So I think adding chests to the survival category, moving them from objective to survival, would make things a little bit more interesting, honestly. I think it would just make things more interesting, and it would help getting more points. I think suddenly survival offerings, the blood point offerings for survival points, would become a lot more used in that case, because suddenly those chests start looking mighty tempting. I also wouldn't be against bumping up the amount of points that you get for searching a chest. Make it 500 for fully searching, because you can kind of split progress on chests, like get a little bit of progress on it, get some points out of it. Maybe bump up the points a little bit, make them worth 500 or something. it wouldn't really unbalance the game. You're just giving people more points for searching chests and kind of making them look at them going, mighty tempting over there with that treasure chest. I like that. So I think that I just think it'd be good for the game in general. What do you guys think? Do you think there is other changes that should be made to make blood points easier to get for survivors? Is there other suggestions you would have? Do you think I'm an idiot and think that that blood points are fine for survivors and they don't need any more of those stupid guys? Tell me what you want in the comments, and you guys have a great day. Later.